What claims do you have if you are injured as a passenger on a motorcycle in Illinois? Hi, I'm Josh Rohrscheib. I'm a personal injury lawyer in Central Illinois, and in this video I'd like to talk about two different types of situations. One where you are injured by another party when another driver was at fault for the accident, and then another when the person who's driving the motorcycle that you were riding on was at fault in the accident. So first, if there was a separate at-fault party for the accident, like a car pulled in front of you while you were a passenger on a motorcycle, the first set of claims you'd bring would be against that at-fault driver. And you'd first look to bring a claim against that at-fault driver's bodily injury policy on their motorcycle. Additionally, they may have something called a personal umbrella policy that would provide liability coverage for them in addition to the amount of coverage that would be available under the bodily injury coverage on their auto policy. If they were driving for an employer at the time, there may be a corporate liability policy that would provide coverage for you. Okay, in addition to the at-fault driver's coverage, you may have coverage available related to the motorcycle that you were on, the policies that covered the motorcycle you're riding on. That may be medical payment coverage, which is coverage available to you regardless of fault to help you with your medical bills. And if the motorcycle carries higher insurance limits than the at-fault driver, there may be underinsured coverage available to you under the motorcycle policy. Similarly, you may have medpay or underinsured coverage on your own policy that could apply to help you with your claim. All right, now let's look at the other situation. Let's look at the situation where you're riding on a motorcycle and the person driving that motorcycle is at fault. So first, you would look to the bodily injury coverage of the motorcycle rider's policy. Second, it may be the case that that motorcycle rider has a liability policy or a personal umbrella policy that would provide coverage in addition to the bodily injury coverage on their motorcycle policy. In addition, you may have coverage on your own auto policy for either medical payment coverage or underinsured coverage, like we talked about in the first situation. I do want to speak to one situation that can come up in cases when a passenger or motorcycle is injured that's important to keep in mind. You're typically not in the back of someone's motorcycle if you don't know them, if they're not like a friend, a neighbor, maybe a family member, someone that you don't necessarily want to sue. And we see people come into our office all the time who have considered abandoning claims that have a lot of value or that they really need to pursue to get their medical bills paid and their wage loss covered because they don't want to have to file a lawsuit against the person they were riding with. And I just want to tell you that in most cases, when the cases are properly worked up and investigated and built, in most cases, injury claims can be resolved without filing a lawsuit. And it's also important to keep in mind that if you're filing a claim against a friend's insurance policy, they've been paying premiums to provide coverage just in case someone was accidentally injured by them. That's what the coverage is there for. That's what they've been paying for the coverage for all along. And your friend may have been paying coverage on a motorcycle for years, just in case they ever needed it. And when they need it, you should use it to make sure that your medical bills are paid and your damages are covered. Finally, I just wanted to stress that in these cases, when you're paid by an insurance company, that's where the money's coming from. It's not coming from your friend's pocket when you settle a case and you're paid by an insurance company. So keep that in mind. And in most of these cases, they can be resolved without ever having to file a lawsuit. And if a lawsuit absolutely must be filed, that's the client's decision. You can decide you don't want to go any farther at that point, but typically it can be handled with enough decency and grace that your friend who was driving the bike can be made to understand that it's really a problem with their insurance company, not with them, and that you're trying to recover from the insurance policy, not necessarily from them. I'd like to just kind of sum up by saying, when you've been injured in a motorcycle accident and you've been a passenger, it's often a high-stakes situation with serious injuries, high medical bills, and a lot of uncertainty. I'd highly encourage you to talk to an experienced personal injury lawyer about your case. Just have a free consultation. It won't cost you anything, and they can give you a lot of information that might help you, and they can look at your specific set of circumstances and help you understand what coverage may be available to compensate you for your claims. Well, hey, if you have any other questions about motorcycle accident cases, please get in touch, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video.